In the lawsuit, Schwartz said that Neuralink didn't honor a promise for flexible work hours to accommodate her family, then demoted her in May 2023, 2 months after her promotion. This actually comes in direct contradiction of what Elon Musk talks about all the time, and what he also does. He doesn't just advocate for mass impregnation of women, he also impregnates his own employees. So he also talks about how impregnation and breeding is so essential to the survival of the human race, and yet when one of his employees is pregnant, I guess not by him, if it's not his seed, then it's not good. So by impregnation and breeding, he just means his own impregnation and breeding. I was wondering why so many people on Sunday were posting pictures of the burnt and destroyed cars from the Nova Music Festivals. You know, the Nova Music Festival was a festival that was taking place during the attack on October 7th, and it's one that has obviously garnered some controversy since, because there's been the report by Haaretz that says that there could be the potential for some of the Israeli forces to have actually shot some of the people at that festival. There's also the idea that Hamas had used that as an opportunity to capture a whole bunch of people and commit various acts of violence. And so the photo of the Nova Music Festival appearing all over Twitter on Sunday was really confusing me, because it was appearing and then people were just saying random shit and then posting a picture of the picture. I didn't get it at first. And then as the day went on, I noticed every single one of the people who was posting a photo of the festival was getting the exact same community note, sometimes within like 20 minutes, sometimes even quicker. And I was really curious what was happening. So there's multiple theories on this. One theory is that there could be a very large bot farm, which again is a pro-Israel bot farm that is immediately detecting any single person who uploads a picture and then giving it the exact same rapid fire community notes so that it always has the same community note on it. But the fun thing is that being the internet, once the internet discovered this, they started playing with it and then putting completely non-related text at the very top. So if we have here, Javier Milei does not fuck his sister. This was already debunked in November last year by basically every major news source in multiple countries. Here are the facts. And these are all facts showing that, in fact, Israel did not commit any violence or damage at the Nova Music Festival on October 7th. So it has nothing to do with what this text is saying. It's just simply, obviously, picking up what the picture is and then posting this. And then more people started having fun with it. Elon Musk is not a pedophile. Readers out of context. This was already debunked in November last year by basically every major news source in multiple countries. George W. Bush was legitimately elected president. This was already debunked in November last year by basically every major news source in multiple countries. And my personal favorite, this one gets number one. You win the internet. Pee is stored in the balls. This was already debunked in November last year. No, j'accuse. This one is true. This is a true statement that is being debunked by some kind of bot farm. Something is going on. Yeah. Not sure. Not happy about it. But it's true. It's real. And I am not entirely sure why it's happening. I don't know why this is happening. I'm sure there's probably maybe articles about it. I could have done 2 seconds of research. Nova Festival Twitter community notes. See if some. No, nothing here. Although I will say I had this morning maybe one of the most exciting moments of my life, because I noticed the one and only Bassem Youssef quote tweeted me. That isn't following me. It was that initial like, and then I was like, oh, but soon he's aware I exist. So we're there. And then I just politely was like, Bassem Youssef is very funny and informative, and you should follow him. And I stand by that statement. But hopefully at some point he'll notice and follow back, because that way I can DM him and be like, come on the show, Bassem, and then we can say friend of the show. So I'll be working on that. But anyways, this is pretty wild. I am going to, honestly, until I have a Matt Binder full expose on this, file this under, I think this is bot farms. I think this is basically bot farms who are auto-detecting this photo, and when it is auto-detected, they assume who's ever talking about it might be saying that, hey, was this in fact Hamas, or was this Israel? And then are immediately doing flooding of community notes, which is resulting in this very funny phenomenon. Also showing you how absolutely garbage X is at this point, and that the community notes function of Twitter has no meaning. You know, that's it. I that's what I'm currently saying. Until I know otherwise, it feels like it happens to be Israeli bot farms doing this. But I do have more fucked up news. This one, a bit of a content warning for Neuralink. If the very idea of people playing with your brain and perhaps doing fucked up shit disturbs you, then this next story will probably not be for you. Elon Musk's Neuralink forced a pregnant employee to work with herpes-infected monkeys that scratched her, a lawsuit says. Elon Musk's brain implant startup Neuralink Corporation forced an employee to work with monkeys that carried the herpes B virus in conditions in which the animals scratched her bare skin, according to a complaint filed Friday in the state court of California. The employee, Lindsay Short, said that once she transferred to the company in Fremont, California site in August 2022, she encountered a, quote, work environment fraught with blame, shame, and impossible deadlines. She said she was later fired for telling her supervisors that she was pregnant. Short sued the company for retaliation, wrongful termination, and discrimination based on her gender, amongst other issues. Neuralink didn't immediately respond to a request for comment on the suit. The startup is in its early phases of clinical trials for the device, which is aimed at restoring function for paralyzed patients. An Arizona man, Nolan Ombog, recently underwent surgery and became the first human patient to have the device implanted. A quadriplegic, Albon can now successfully play video games by using only his thoughts. The company has also come under fire for the mistreatment of monkeys and other animals in the past, including botched surgeries, when it conducted research on monkeys housed at the University of California, Davis. It has since moved monkey research to its own facilities. Short said that she was working with monkeys that carried the herpes B virus when she was scratched through a glove. She accused the company of failing to provide proper protective gear to work with the monkeys. In another incident, she was forced to perform a procedure she wasn't familiar with. A monkey scratched her face. When she insisted on medical treatment, her boss threatened severe repercussions if it happened again, according to the complaint. In the lawsuit, Short said that Neuralink didn't honor a promise for flexible work hours to accommodate her family, then demoted her in May 2023, 2 months after promotion. This actually comes in direct contradiction of what Elon Musk talks about all the time, and what he also does. He doesn't just advocate for mass impregnation of women, he also impregnates his own employees. So he also talks about how impregnation and breeding is so essential to the survival of the human race, and yet when one of his employees is pregnant, I guess not by him, if it's not his seed, then it's not good. So by impregnation and breeding, he just means his own impregnation and breeding, and then everyone else can kind of just fall by the wayside, because it doesn't, surprise me at all that in a company that is notorious for its abysmal working conditions, its racism, its sexism, all this kind of stuff, that yes, they would not offer adequate maternity leave or even paternity leave, or do anything that is necessary to really help parents after they are, making the very children that he claims that he wants. But apparently that's not something that's going to be happening. In her lawsuit, Short said Neuralink didn't honor a promise for flexible work hours. The following month, she told Neuralink's human resource department she was pregnant. Shortly then, she was fired. The following day, the company said the dismissal was for performance issues, according to the lawsuit. So, yeah, odd timing that. But let's look up the Neuralink recipient wants it. I think the Neuralink recipient also wants it out. Yes, Popular Science says that article. It's a little old now, May 21st. 85 Neuralink implant wires are already detached, says the first patient who got it. In an interview, Nolan Almbrug says the company wanted to avoid further surgery. An estimated 85% of Neuralink's brain-computer interface implant threads connected to the first human patient's motor cortex are now completely detached, and his brain is shifted inside his skull up to 3 times when what the company expected, said volunteer Nolan Arbog, told the Wall Street Journal. Arbog also stated that Neuralink has since remedied the initial performance issues using an over-the-air software update and is performing better than before, but the latest details continue to highlight concerns surrounding the company's controversial, repeatedly delayed human implant study. It's a coin-sized N1 BCI implant with 64 wires thinner than human hair that are inserted a few millimeters into the motor cortex. Each thread contains 16 electrodes that translates users' neural activity into computer commands like typing and cursor movement. Around 870 of the 1,024 electrodes in his implants are no longer functional, an issue that initially took Neuralink a few weeks to remedy. When Arbog asked if his implant could be removed, fixed, or even replaced, they said the medical team relayed that they would prefer to avoid another brain surgery and instead gather more information. In an update quietly published earlier this month, the company says it ultimately determined that the malfunction had reduced the implant's bytes per second, the BPS rate, and the BCI performance speed and accuracy. A modification of the recording algorithm allowed Arbog's device to become more sensitive to neural population signals, improved the techniques to translate these signals into cursor movements, and enhanced the user interface. I'm not saying, by the way, that this isn't on its surface and doesn't sound exceptionally cool. I know why people get really excited for Elon Musk style sci-fi futuristic stuff that he's implementing. I think the potential to have people who either have limited mobility, or in the case of this individual who is completely immobile, the ability to have technology that enhances their experience and that gives them the ability to say perform cognitive functions using brain waves, and then perhaps even use different kinds of robotics to become functionally mobile again, stuff like that. That's all amazing. That's all very, very neat. And I think there should be a lot of research into that. Elon Musk leading it is a nightmare scenario. That's why everyone has been saying, like, the man has how many monkeys has he killed so far trying to get this stuff to work? And we don't even know what happens to the monkeys that were successfully implanted, and then they did the demonstrations where it's like, look, he can now play Pong, and you're like, well, this is I guess revolutionary to some degree, but it could also be that it's tracking his eye movements, which could be relayed by a camera, which that technology has been around for a while, and that it could be doing that. I don't know if this is necessarily 100% reading brainwaves and utilizing them to play video games, but I'm not saying that the very idea of pursuing this technology is not good. It just shouldn't be pursued by a private racist like Elon Musk, because I think we've all seen what a white supremacist like him does with pretty wild technology, and his disregard for human beings as humans also is concerning. It's just not good stuff to be done by someone like Musk, of all the people, But I'm not saying that this technology couldn't be enormously beneficial for humanity. Maybe some form of socialized research where it's to benefit humanity and not one person who wants to, again, privatize this kind of stuff to benefit himself could be better.
Thank you so much for watching, everybody. We first want to give a shout out to everyone who makes this show possible. This program is produced thanks to the generous support of our Patreon supporters: Anna Loves Riley, Ariane McCarthy, Cheryl Alvarez, Comrade Junkie, Doug Caddy, Everything Important, Hagbar Celine, Jimmy Sombrero, Multimondi, Omni, Peanut Butter Blondie, Political Poppy, Preston Kroll, Quiet 185, Richard Bomey, Riley and Anna, Roller Dragon, Ruby, Cernicus, Stellar Gwyn, Sebastian Demmel, Travis McClinton, and Words Greenwood, as well as every other person you see on the screen right now. This show would not be possible without them. And if you want to join these wonderful people who make this entire program possible, simply go to patreon.com/the Serfs and you can unlock uncensored and bonus episodes and, help us exist.